You are sitting on the floor of an empty loft in Brooklyn, where your $1,000 jackets hung just yesterday, counting crumpled cash to see if you can afford the cheapest flight back to Kyiv. And you know what's the funniest part? You didn't go bankrupt because of a market crash, a warehouse fire, or a lawsuit with some fashion giant. You lost your entire empire because your best friend forgot to pay a $150 state tax in Delaware. Remember that day you first walked out of JFK Airport, the smell of jet fuel in your lungs, that sticky fear in your stomach, and the blind faith that America was going to love you. For the first few months, you were sewing those exact same oversized hoodies in a damp basement in Queens. It smelled like industrial bleach, cheap beer, and stale bagels from the corner store. Your fingers bled from the sewing machine needles, and your back ached so badly you wanted to howl. You counted those exact $840 in crumpled bills, making sure there was enough left to wire to your mom. But then you'd step outside and see local kids asking where they could buy what you were wearing. Back then, you didn't know that this habit of saving money on other people's competence would cost you everything. But at first, there was only growth. Rappers from Atlanta started wearing your brand. Orders poured in from Tokyo, Berlin, London. You weren't sewing anymore. You rented a massive workshop and hired managers. Your account showed those exact $47,000 every month, a number that made your hands shake. You bought that loft, started drinking expensive whiskey, and truly believed you were part of the elite. You handed over all the paperwork, licenses, and LLC registrations to your boy from the neighborhood. Why would you, a genius, bother with boring bureaucracy when you needed to create new collections? The boss smiled when he signed that $2 million contract with the European fashion house, but that exact smile was the beginning of the end. You're flying to Paris, popping champagne in a fancy restaurant, when your lawyer calls. Your ears are ringing, and the glass slips from your hand. He tells you your brand doesn't belong to you anymore. Turns out, your boy hadn't paid the annual fee to maintain the company's status for 3 years. The state simply dissolved your LLC, and while it was legally dead, some local troll registered your logo under their own name and sued you. And you know what the worst part is? You try to fight it in court, but legally, you don't exist. Your accounts are frozen overnight. Fabric suppliers see the news and demand upfront cash you don't have. Online retailers block your payment gateways on suspicion of fraud. In 3 weeks, nothing is left of your global empire except back rent for the workshop and a stack of court summons. You just sit there, watching the movers carry your stuff out onto the street, right into the cold autumn rain. You lost it all. The brand, the money, the reputation. Sitting in this kitchen, finishing this warm, cheap beer, you finally grasp one cynical truth. In America, it doesn't matter how genius you are or how dope your product is. It only matters how attentive you are to the tiny details everyone else considers garbage. Tell me, would you have checked that receipt for $150, or would you have trusted your bro too?